How was it for the week?
Well,
Good, except for today.
yeah,
Sure.
of course. He works 2 jobs, so
Okay.
I'm the one mostly taking him out. With me, he's been pretty good, except, like, I guess his only issue is, like, when he knows he's going home or when he's on his way, he
Yeah,
knows our
for
neighborhood.
sure. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just like, I don't want to turn around, and he'll just plop down,
Oh, sure, okay.
So that was really the only issue he had with me.
Okay.
This morning, he did, like, I was walking him, he was okay. He was really just watching him a lot of the time.
Okay.
And then he went to the bathroom, then he started walking him, and he got really bitey with the leash. He
Okay.
was, pulling it.
Sure.
And then we switched back, and I tried to do it, and then he was biting it with me.
Sure.
So he just was not cooperating.
Sure. Yeah, that's easy fix.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there was a couple times throughout the week where I drove by coming home where I saw them out, and it was great. So
Yeah.
it was the weirdest thing. It was just this morning where he kind of.
For sure.
He does seem to like correct himself when he feels the leash get taut. He'll kind of correct before I have to nick him or anything.
Okay.
So, but other than that, that's
What about like 'cause last week when your heel would like hit him in the face and stuff?
Yeah.
What was going on with that? We see more of that. Is that fine now?
I think it's fine. I noticed that it happened to me once when I let the leash maybe too long, and he kind of got behind me. So he didn't have that issue this morning when he had it a little bit tighter. So I don't know if that was maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
He seemed to stay next to me pretty good. He didn't try to go around.
Okay. So a couple of things here. The plopping down, it's an easy fix. We do want to get him to move through that because that's resistance.
Yeah.
Low level resistance, but still resistance. The biting at the leash, same thing, resistance, a little bit more escalated. When you mentioned the leash going hot and stuff, we definitely don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Okay? We want the remote to always correct him.
Okay.
And because you're correct, like he's learning that tension is typically you're turning around. So he's kind of learned that when he feels that just to self-correct. So that tells me leash is too short. So it's a balance of slack, but not so much slack that he's just, it's getting under his feet and stuff, but enough that he can make those mistakes so I can take advantage of the moment and correct him with the remote, okay? Now the con to that would be, yes, you might get that whole, the foot thing, right? But that's where all this comes into play. So like, let's say, so we when people see issues, they tend to avoid the issues with the dogs because they're going to get bit or whatever, right? So I get it. But I push the issues because that's how we fix stuff, right? So like I have my bite suit or whatever, and I come in, I'm like, oh, sure, you want to bite me? Here, bite me, and I'm going to correct you for biting me, right? Obviously, you guys don't have that, so that's where either muzzle comes into play, so that I can have that leash be slack and not worry about if I tap him with my foot, if he tries, well, I can stop it with the remote, but also I'm not worried about if he gets a good chomp out of me, okay? And as we go along, we're going to progress with this stuff. So when it comes to the plopping down, what you would do is simply, if he pops down here, I go forward and just a tiny bit of pressure to direct him to move forward, 25, 30, 40, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, I'm coming. There. Okay? As he's saying, nope, don't want to do it. And you're overriding that resistance. And eventually, the plopping stops. Because he's like, if I stop, you're going to just make me move anyways. 2, it'll get easier to override resistance because the brain already knows. I gave it my best shot. It went up to 95, and I had to move anyways. Okay? So that one's easy. Same thing for if he's biting the leash. I keep walking, then I'll shorten it. So when I pull up, you're making it opposite for the dogs. They direct their body with their front legs, right? They go like this. So if I have to pick up and he's biting at the leash, I'll pick up until I pick up even the paws as I'm walking and tapping and bumping, similar to the resistance when he's popped down, to get him to let go of the leash. Then I relax and then I keep going. So you're telling him, if you try to fight the leash, this is going to escalate. Okay, that's how we override.
Okay. I did up it as he was doing this. It was just like he was at like back, and I was like, if he just drops it and lunges, that's what I was like. I myself maybe was just a little.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
As you do this, like I can eyeball it. Like when you had the leash, I could see where I was like, that's a smidgen too long.
Right.
He can get you, and then shorten it accordingly. You can even stop if it's easier for you to stop and like do this. Because if he's biting the leash, he's biting the leash,
Yeah.
right? Like
He was like pulling it back.
Yeah, it was almost like tug of war.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like it was like here, and he's got it, and he's like leaning back. You know.
Gotcha.
So-
Gotcha. Yeah.
Should I have like come around and?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Okay.
We actually had that happen this morning
Okay.
where the dog was getting frustrated
Yeah.
and it would position itself here, not out of aggression,
Right.
but like actually because of attention,
Yeah.
but because there was resistance. I told the owner flip so that you're on the side because that gives you more leverage. Because here the dog's already at that vantage point. Yeah, and take your time. As long as he's stuck in the moment, like even if it takes you like a minute to adjust, fix your leash and stuff, and then go, okay, I'm all set up, and you start, that's fine. You don't, for the most part, think you have to get it done very quickly because you're trying to learn the skill set so that you can prevent stuff. Because you'll see me, like if I have a dog and I'm not set up correctly, you'll see me take my time, I'm not doing anything with the remote or anything like that, and then once I'm ready, I go, all right, now. And then I'll start working on it. And the dog may have been blowing up for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. Because the dog, as long as it's stuck in that mindset, as soon as you kick back in again, like he's gonna be okay. Anything else?
That was really it.
All right. So I'm gonna have you guys just show me what you've been practicing, how you've been practicing it, so I can make sure everything's being done correctly, what you remember, and then we're gonna move on to the second.
Okay.
Okay.
Visually, you said last time it was loose. How does it look this time? I mean,
Where did you place it originally?
like right center.
Okay, what I would do, so we place it here or here.
Okay.
We tend to stay away from the throat area.
Okay.
Just because if you fit it really snug, it'll be like right on the on the jugular. If you put it on the side and it ends up falling down like this, then that's too loose.
Okay.
For sure.
That makes sense.
Okay. What's your number at right now?
15. I just haven't even.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you. Yeah. So up. Yep. Yep. Yeah. 20. Yep. 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 25. Yep. Yep. There. And relax. Okay. There you go. And you're gonna take up maybe like a foot of slack.
Tie this thing back together.
And relax. There you go. Now relax your arm. So now, all right, cool. So he's doing what he was said, right? So we went from 15 to 25, and then he let go. Now go ahead and just take a step forward. And now he's like plopping, right? So a little bit of pressure and tap, tap, forwards pressure, not upwards pressure. There you go, like that. Now walk, tap, 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 tap. There you go. Tap, tap, tap. 30. Corgi. Forward, step, and relax. Good. Like that arm, you got it. Good job. Tap, forward, tap, 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 tap. 35. Tap, 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 tap. 40.
Hand's gonna break.
Tap, tap, tap. 45. You let go?
Yeah.
Okay, now forward. Good. There you go. Tap, tap, tap. Good, forward. Tap, tap. Good, forward. Oh, I need to stop what I'm doing. So once you get over that, just get tap, 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 forward. Tap. Good. Forward. Good job. Tap. 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 Good. Forward.
See how it's Canadian because you went to
When's the last time you charged this, by the way?
Charged it, like the remote,
The collar?
last week.
Okay.
Is
What's it
that,
hold right there?
I mean, it's like full charge, or it says it on here at least.
Because I thought I saw a blinking red. It's Go get the CP one. Is it still in your car? Yeah. Yeah, go and grab it. Thank you. I think that might be dying.
Okay.
So the battery on the
Mine's a lot
remote.
faster than that?
No, the battery on the remote is different than the battery on the collar.
Right. I
Yeah.
figured they'd be similar.
Yeah.
No.
So, so we have a spare in our car, but I just saw it. Looks like it's blinking red.
Okay.
We'll-
It doesn't. Does it blink? When does it? When you nick it, what color does it go?
When fully charged, green. When running low, orange. When dying, red.
Great.
Okay, that's all right. We got a spare. So
Okay.
keep working.
Getting it on and off.
What's up?
Getting it on and off.
Oh, gotcha. He's doing a lot better though. Aside from the resistance. Good, slow turn. Good, let's go and swap handlers. Have you had any moments of tension like in the home and stuff?
What do you mean? As far as like him coming at us?
Yeah, aggressive responses? No?
Not in the house.
Okay. I'm assuming you haven't come across any context though, like around his, because it's because of resources, right?
Usually.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
Okay. I'd shorten just a wee bit more here. That's pretty good. Relax. There you go. And forward. Yeah, relax that arm. You got it. Good job. Good. Relax. Yep, turn. You're good. 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 Go ahead and relax that arm. Good job. Yeah, keep relaxed. Relax. I have to work on that. Good. Slow turn. Very good. And then we'll bring him right here.
I'm not relaxing my arm.
Nope. So, good. Not bad for the first week. Okay. Because there's some wariness around certain responses, right? In terms of Leon with like the ankle biting, just biting in general, stuff like that.
For me, that's what it is. I feel him coming towards me, so my natural reaction is to stiffen up my arm out a little bit.
So, I understand the reaction. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Tension from the human leads to tension from the dog, right? And as we go along, this happens with everybody. It's like you have to give trust at some point, and it's two types of trust: tap, 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 tap. Right there. Good. What are you looking at? The balloons. Go to 50. So if he barks again, we'll correct him. So one part of trust is trusting that he's going to behave himself.
That's kind of what, like, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, all week he was so good. I'm like, all right, we're okay. I don't feel like we needed the muzzle because he didn't do any of the stuff he did last week. He started getting the hang of things. But now I'm like, I feel like I would have been more comfortable had we done the muzzle today. I'm worried though, the one we have is too tight. Or, not that it doesn't fit right, but just that he has like a harder time panting and stuff like that.
Is it a basket style?
No, it's
The mesh?
So I'm wondering.
You want to get a basket style.
Like maybe you can send me a recommendation.
Just shoot me an email.
Yeah.
We use Baskerville. Yeah. You can get them on Amazon,
Yeah.
but it's a basket style. It's meant for, he can pant,
Yeah.
drink water, eat food and stuff. It's meant for extended wear.
Okay.
So yeah, the mesh ones are meant for momentary, like going to the vet or grooming and
That's
stuff
what
like that.
we use it for, and
Yeah.
I was like for 3 hours there and back.
Oh, you left the facility? No, it's fine. All right, I thought we had one, but so I think we'll be okay.
It was for 3, it's an hour here, and then an hour back. So I was like for 3 hours, that's kind of long on his, I don't know how we would do
For
it.
like a mesh muzzle?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I was just popping on here, but whatever. So, when it comes to dogs, how do you say, like, no, but nothing's perfect. You know, I've had cases where for like 3 to 4 weeks it's awesome, and then all of a sudden it's a bad week. And I go, all right, then we address it. You know, when we work with cases, it's the same thing. Some of my worst cases were the ones that I've gone in and then gone like, this ain't gonna be a problem, and it's the biggest problem. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop saying that now because I look like a jackass. So,
I think the thing that was interesting, it almost seems like he figured out that leash biting thing this morning. He just did it once and then was like, okay, I'm gonna do this now.
yeah, then we just address it.
Yeah.
So once we hit 45, 50, it became less and less and less, and you were doing more ground, right? I love it when dogs give me shit like that.
Yeah.
Because it gives me something to work through. It gives me something to say, like, you're not going to win this, right? People see it as like, oh, my dog being bad again. I go, here's another opportunity to teach the rules, okay? So it's all about how you look at it. It's funny because my worst cases in the sense of like when I come in and it's very clear this is a problem are the easiest cases to work with because there's a problem. The harder problems are the ones where like we know the dog is capable and to do it, but then you got to fish for it. You know, so when he's being late and stuff, I'm like, all right, cool, like here we go, right? The main thing is always just being prepared, you know, in terms of your leash and stuff, being relaxed, being a step ahead. So I tell you about like redirected biting and stuff, because a lot of people don't expect that, you know. And then when it happens, like, oh my God, my dog's becoming aggressive to me. I'm like, no, like the dog is just frustrated. You're the closest thing, so that's what they're gonna go for. So with that whole plopping down and the leash biting, just minutes before that, I said, this is how you're going to approach it. What happened? He plopped down and leash biting. What do we do? Exactly what I said. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. All of a sudden, he's like, all right, this isn't as fun as it was this morning. Okay? So now you have a context in which we practice that very thing. In terms of going forward, let's say that starts to become a regular habit that he tries. What that is even though you go to 45 and you just did it now, it's not enough to retain it ongoing, right? And for Leon, it can be worth repeating that behavior until you hit 45. So if I see that pattern of every day, every walk, he's like, nope, I'm gonna plop down, I'm gonna pull that leash at the start of every walk, then at some point I go, all right, then I'm just gonna start at 45. Because you have to dissuade the brain from the get-go. Otherwise, those 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes that you spend escalating are worthwhile for him. I see that stuff all the time.
There's another thing too, and you kind of talked about this a little bit. You're not getting him that high on the queue at home, just because he doesn't seem to have as much of a fight. I don't know if it's
Well, I know last week it was loose, so we had to get up a little higher. So when I was able to get it tighter on him, it did take less to get him to notice it, you know. But I know that was part of it.
Right, and remember, we have 3 levels, right? We have connection, perception, and working. You always want to make sure you're at that working number. That number that's concerning to him. So that's what's going to get the results from the get-go. And that's what's going to make it kind of streamlined, if you will. Like here right now, 45 is the number at the moment, but we're also looking at the environment as well. So there's a lot of variables there. We'll see how this week goes, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear, okay? Does that all make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay, questions about that? Alrighty, so what we're gonna do today is the second half of the deal. After today, you can schedule that Zoom for the behavioral stuff. Okay, so then we start tackling that. Okay, so this is to prep you on how this works, learning about, stopping crap like that, escalating it. My general rule of thumb of if I don't see responses in 3 taps, I escalate. And here we went to 5, right? To give you a structure. Then we go into like, what's the problems that we're dealing with? How are we going to apply that stuff? Okay? So whenever you get back, whatever, just email Maria. You don't have to wait a week for that. because that's just a Zoom. The in-person stuff we do at least a week apart.
Yeah,
Okay?
because we've got next Saturday he's going out of town for a week, so we're not free next Saturday or the Saturday after.
Okay.
So but we could schedule a Zoom meeting later this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the heel, what we taught last week was the foundation for it. This week, so last week was teaching Leon to pay attention to you. Now we want to communicate with him. Right? Probably one part of this is going to be a little tricky because we're going to be crossing over him, and it's typically so if Leon's on our left, when we turn or across him, so a left turn, I use my right leg. Okay, so the dog can see this as a visual. They'll typically turn with you. Okay, however, sometimes they don't. And what we do is just walk right through them. That's the tricky part, okay? Yeah. So, we'll go over it today, and I would suggest learn it, and then don't practice it until we get that muzzle on, if you're concerned about possibly the nip or bite, okay? So, here, for the beginning part of it, we're going to go ahead and put a cue to this. That word is heel. You're going to cue the word heel first and then move forward to left leg, okay? So it'd be heel, then left leg, now you're walking, okay? You'll slow down to that stop. If Leon doesn't sit, we're going to lightly pull up, give that tap, create that sitting motion. We're also going to be more strict now. We're not going to allow him to lay down anymore. We're going to want that sit motion, okay? Once that butt is down, we relax, wait a moment, heel, left leg, start walking, right? Turn if you need to, slow down, come to that stop, should sit, he doesn't, pull up, tap, butt down. If Leon lays down, I keep that leash lightly up, keep tapping until I pop his head up, okay? And do like a sitting position. Wait a moment, heel, and repeat, okay? So what we're doing is putting a title to this, because last week I just said start tapping her. That would trigger everyone. Now you're going to have a formal on switch, so technically if you don't say anything, you can come out for a walk. If you're not said heel, beyond, technically do all this crazy stuff, okay? Once you cue that word, everything that we covered last week and everything we covered this week is then going to go into effect. Does that make sense? Who's going to be the first go?
Or am I turning left each time then?
No, you're still going to keep the other turn. We're going to cover the turns after that.
Okay.
Okay? Ignore this for now. There you go. We had a muzzle with this yesterday. I was going to show you, but I think we put it up. Yeah. How are you, man? Up. There you go. Now you relax that arm. And then heel, left leg.
Heel.
Get that arm relaxed. There you go. So right here, you see how he starts to get? Right? Turn. Cap. Relax. Good. Slow walk here. Stop. And relax, wait a moment. We're not going to care about how he positions himself. I just care that he puts his butt down. Okay? Heel, left leg.
Heel.
Your arm relaxed. Good. Slow down. Stop. Good, relax. Wait a moment. Heel.
Heel.
Good. right there. Yep, good job. Good. You got it. Turn again.
I don't think that was enough, but I can't. That's up.
Forward. Good, stop. Good, nothing here then. If he puts his foot down, we don't do anything. But this, we're gonna correct. Yep. Relax. Relax your arm. Relax. There you go. Wait a moment. Good. Heel.
Heel.
Turn. Tap. Good. Good move. You got it. Good job. Stop. Good, nothing here. Tap. Good move. Excellent. Tap. Good, relax. Good. Wait a moment. Heel.
Heel.
Good. Slow down. Stop. Good. Want to do one more?
Heel.
Turn. Slow. Stop. Good. There you go. Stop.
Actually, there's a muscle in your trunk.
Was there?
I mean, we've got one in the car.
No, it's to show you the style of it.
it.
And if we want to pop it on, you can. Lincoln. Just before the Jimmy John's. Go ahead. Turn. Tap. Right. Watch. Yep.
Whoa. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So up. Tap. Okay. Relax. Watch. Who's he target the most here?
Me.
You?
Always me.
Yeah. So that wasn't even a foot thing. That was just a I don't want you to tell me what to do type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll let her get the muzzle. We'll review what happened here, and we'll step aside so we're not in the way. Okay. Alrighty. So, what we're doing here is simply putting a cue to the whole exercise so that we have an actual on switch.
They only knew.
What?
If they only knew.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. Anyways, so when you had him, Savannah, he was actually doing well. He was following your lead. It's just getting in a habit now because there was a couple when you turned and he forged. Oh no, it's when you said heel. He kind of just shot forward.
Yeah.
Is being able to recognize that and pivoting right away to tap to correct that. Okay. Because
Okay,
even
so
if he
lunges forward, just do a quick turn.
well, if he lunges forward and puts tension,
Right.
because that's what happened. I saw the leash get taut, and we don't want him to think. We don't want him to respond to the leash. We want him to respond to your physical movements.
Right.
So if I just say heel and start walking at a slow pace, it should be I walk at a slow pace, not this launch and then he slows down. Okay, so he was like super impulsive on those starts.
Yeah.
Your stops were good. Like when you would slow down, he would slow down with you. All that stuff was good. It was just the goes that was making him lunge. Okay. So here, the reason for the left leg is because dogs have a wider peripherance than we do. So they can see this here. Okay. So when you're moving with them, if you say heel and that left leg moves forward, that becomes like the visual cue for, hey, now we're walking. Okay. In more advanced training, left leg means walk with me. Right leg means you don't move. Okay. So we're conditioning him to start recognizing that left leg as visual communication because it's going to come into play once we start doing those turns as well. Okay. So when we do our turns, I'll do like a little simple demonstration here while she's getting the muzzle. Is when we're turning left, we're crossing over, like I said, with that right leg, okay? Because typically people turn with their left leg, okay? The problem with that is if the dog is right next to you, you're gonna punt them, okay? Or you're gonna trip over them. Or you're gonna touch him and he's not gonna like it and then he's gonna try to correct you, okay? So when we cross over with that right leg, since he sees that crossing over, most dogs will just naturally pivot and turn with you because they don't wanna collide, okay? They'll naturally just turn. So it'd be, we do the right to the left and then we turn again on the right. So if you're within the sidewalk, like a normal sidewalk, you're making the shape of a square. And you would stay within that width of the sidewalk. And there's no tension here. There's no tension, there's no remote. It's all through body language, okay? When we do the pivots, we do it with the opposite leg. So it'd be the left leg when we're turning to the right. Okay, so when you're using the leg opposite to the turn, up, tip, tip. There you go, and relax. Good. You're using the leg opposite to the turn, okay? And most people tend to do this naturally until I tell them to do it on purpose, and then they're like, oh, because they're all stuck in their head. Okay? Any questions or anything else aside from that? And I'll give you a visual too once Bree gets back. So I know we had the resource guarding, we had the guarding of the bed. What other behaviors are we trying to? Oh, the neurosis or whatever, neurotic getting when people coming over. Yeah.
People coming over, people leaving, like the separation thing.
Oh, people leaving.
Both.
Yeah, if one of the two of us leave.
Well, anyone. I mean, we haven't had people over because of how
Sure.
it's been. But like if my mom comes over and she leaves, to avoid him freaking out and whipping his toys and like redirecting all that, I put him in the bathroom. But I mean, it's because of how he gets.
What's he doing when he's in the bathroom?
What is he? What?
Is he completely like just unaware?
No.
Like he still knows that something's happening?
Sometimes.
But he
I mean,
calms down.
that's where he goes like when we're gone. That's where he goes like if people are over. I mean, that's kind of like where it's a big bathroom.
Right. You put him in there.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't go in there and like go crazy or anything?
Initially,
it's 50.
okay.
Well, it's 50-50.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes he knows somebody's leaving, or other times it's calm.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering is when being put away, because some dogs will associate that, and they can still hear like the door and stuff opening.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if he'd still go a little crazy.
Yeah, sometimes.
So, so if somebody does come over, you put Leon away, he's in there for the duration of the time that they're there, and then when they leave, you then let him out. I'm assuming like a little bit afterwards, so you avoid still that stimulation? Okay. Sue, this is a Baskerville muzzle. This actually, this is a size 3. I don't know if you want to test to see if this is one that'll fit him. So there's 3 straps. So here, so that goes over his ear, and then it's on the center of his head here. Then that goes behind his head. Yeah.
He's like super. Still, I can feel it. He's like super. Yeah.
Like escalated?
Yeah.
So then here, if you do the style of muzzle, it gives you a loop here.
Okay.
This is for a collar to go through. I'm not sure if your e-collar the strap will fit through this. So typically, I tell people to get a flat buckle collar, which is the same collar that the e-collar is. It's that back buckle, not a snap buckle.
Oh, okay.
Snap buckles, like this is a snap buckle,
Right.
okay? These, because this gets worn, ends up stretching out over time, and then next thing you know, it's slipping over the dog's head, okay? A flat buckle won't do that. So some of my clients have gotten like just a regular thin flat buckle to go through here for the sake of when the dog wears the muzzle. This is one layer of security because it keeps it here. This one goes up and around the head, and there's a lock on it so that this can't unsnap, okay? And then it's got the third strap for security, okay? So then it's nice and secure, and if this is fitted correctly and with the muzzle, we don't do the 2 fingers for the muzzle. It's super tight where you can't even get a finger underneath there. That's really what secures it, so if he tries to remove it, it's not going anywhere, okay? Be a size 3 or a size 2?
Are they Amazon?
Yeah, you get them on
So I can
Amazon.
just order
Just make sure
both and
you
see
get,
what one fits.
yeah, make sure you get Baskerville, okay? Because there are knockoff brands. This is a hard rubber. The other ones are a soft rubber. I've had so many dogs chew through them, you know. So you want to go with the brand Baskerville. Yeah, he's definitely not going to be a 4. I know that for sure. He's probably a 2 or 3, okay?
So I don't.
All right. Do you want to work with him more, or do you, or how do you want to handle
He
it?
seems more comfortable sitting.
Like they're like this last.
Seeing him shake.
He was shaking when we first got here last time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. I mean, last time he was more vocal. He's better now, aside from like his little attempts there. But it's up to you.
I'm gonna have you take over. I mean, I have no problem jumping back in, but I just want to get through as much as possible.
Because if you're the target in the sense of like other stuff, then it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can go over all this stuff, and then once you get everything in the basket, you have a couple of weeks to get all that stuff situated. Yep. Get all that stuff situated. Then when you come back, we'll fill you in.
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that fine? Okay. Cool. So we got the heel down. So I'm gonna review those turns again.
Yep.
Good. Okay. So the left turn. If we use the sidewalk as our guide here, I would want to hug on the right side to give me space, right? So you're walking with Leon. I have a dog that just signed up. His name's Star Fox, and I thought Star Fox. So you're walking with Leon. You're gonna make sure you want to slow down first, right? Like we always do, and you're gonna time it so that your right leg crosses over. And then use the crack as a line, as my guide, right? So it's a 90-degree cut. Then left leg, and then turn it with the right leg like this. So if we do this correctly, you should be able to stay within the width of one block. In terms of the sidewalk here, just take a little bit of me. Right. Walking, right, left, right. So they're 90-degree cuts to that right leg. Okay, they're very pronounced. You don't want to do a rounded right, like this. Okay, people do this, and the next thing you know, they're kicking out their left leg, and they're kicking the dog out. Okay, and I'm gonna gamble that Leon here is not gonna want to be kicked. He doesn't appreciate it. Yeah. So when we're walking, a very sharp 90-degree cut with the right leg, and we're good. Okay. That's slow down prior. If you're walking with Leon and he's not being mindful, and you slow down and he keeps going, do not try to force the left turn. It's not gonna happen. Okay. Instead, turn away, tap to correct them to bring them back, and then try again. The pivots are the easiest turn. Most people do these naturally. So when you're walking, slowing down, and you're going to extend left, right, left. Now you're going the opposite way. Okay? So it's left, right, left. And I will literally drag on that first step to give Leon time to curve around to see what I'm doing, and then we continue moving this way. Same rule of slowing down prior to those turns, or like the stops, are in effect. Because if you don't slow down, you're going to catch him off guard, and we're probably going to get jumbled up. And I don't think he's going to appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to start with the left turns first, because that tends to be the hardest for people.
Somebody told me that when I got it.
Yep. Up. There you go. And on the front.
So I have to say heel.
Right, and you're going to be issuing the word heel, right? Because now you're cueing it. So up to get them in the sitting position. Good, and relax.
Heel.
You're gonna hug towards the right. Give yourself space, right? Start slowing down. And your time is your right leg touch the front. Right, left, right. There you go. Let's forward. That's one. Turn, tap. Because he's forging a little bit. See that? Right. So you see how he's forging it? One, look at pressure. So remember, if he's forging ahead, you still now turn, tap to line him up again. I know you got to think about a line. That's why
I feel stupid.
this is why we split heels
I don't
into
know
two
how to
classes.
walk.
Turn, tap, right? Good. Good. And then good. Forward. Yep, keep forward. Slow down. Right. Left. Right. See how you just naturally move there? That's typically how it goes. That's fine. I don't care how he turns. He turns. Now at this point, little momentum going, and then you'll go into another turn. Yep, keep forward. There you go. Good move. You got it. Good job. Good job. You got it.
What's up, Brody? Good.
We had another client ask if we could board their dog. They can't board them for us. You're gonna slowly stop. Very good. Right. Very good. Yep, good move. You got it. Good job. Right, wait a moment, wait a moment. There you go. Good job. Then relax. You got it. You'll be a dog whisperer in no time. So, good turns. All those were good turns. Okay? So, did you have the remote there anywhere?
Not
No.
in the turns. No.
Right, always correct, right? For the
Correct.
alignment, yeah.
Right.
So that's how it should be. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the pivots. The pivots are the easy ones.
Okay.
It's gonna be you walk forward, extend the left, back on the right, forward to left. Now going the opposite way. Okay?
Okay. So he is still coming around.
He's coming
right?
around,
Yeah.
correct. And go ahead and give some more distance between the turns so it's
Okay.
more obvious that you have to shift your speeds.
Yeah.
So you'll be going at a normal pace, then slow down so you can do the left, right, left movement. Okay? Jab. Whose dog is it?
He's out. We could panic. No, it's all good. But the whole thing is shit.
Yeah. So, they just attach and stuff, but it's not uncommon for dogs to take so much. You got it. Good job. Good. Good hovering. You got it. Even out there. Stop. Up. There you go. So, do you know what I think I know where that's coming from? Two things. I think one, frustrated,
Yep.
and he's redirecting it. Watch your leash there. Good. There you go. He's getting frustrated either with the heat or the process, and it's redirected through that, or when you did that extension, because I think it happened twice, where you started to target the leg
Yeah, I can feel him.
as you're as you're coming out, right?
Yeah.
So those are the turns. I don't want to worry about. I don't want to push it too much without it being properly equipped.
Next week or next time we will be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but they're simple. Okay. Now the reason for the specific movements here is so that when you walk with Leon, it's all part of the structure. So the first half was last week, teaching Leon to be mindful of you, calming him down a bit, shutting down that reactivity, getting him to focus on you and watch what you were doing. This week we're doing communication, heal to trigger everything. Now you're going to do all this stuff. And then movement to let Leon know what you're doing. You know when you're going to stop, you know when you're going to turn, he never will. That's like, okay? So these movements are to let him know, like, yo, this is what we're doing. We're coming to a stop. We're turning to the left. We're making a 180. We're going to the right. Blah, 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 right? What I suggest, once you get everything good to go, is you can keep things simple for now and do what you've been doing for the past week. And for the turns, once you got everything situated, start with 5. You can do the heel to stop, like the heels. You can do that. The turns is just the tricky ones, right? And the left turn seemed to be fine. It was just the pivot that he had an issue with. So then, once you got everything, I would do 5 heel to stops, 5 heels to left turns, and then 5 heels pivots before every walk to warm yourself up to it. Okay, so that you get it in your muscle memory. The hard part's going to be you're on a walk with Leon. Okay, now we're going to turn left at like the red light, or we're going to turn maybe 180 at the stop sign. So now you're going to start timing it so that when you get to that red light, your left, it's a natural left, just keep going. Okay, but it's very awkward in the beginning because you have to think about it. Once you get used to it, you don't even think about it. Okay, now once we get the muzzle involved, I just as comfortable as possible move. Okay. And I don't care about it. I don't care if my heel taps him. I don't care if I cross over and I bump him. I want to do things where he's going to be like, hey, screw you, man, and try to come at me, and I can correct him. Okay? But right now, obviously, you don't have that. Okay? Questions about that? So that's easy. Let's take a look. You guys are at 2?
3. We started at
You're at 3?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right at 3? Behaviorally, if you have anybody come over in this time, are you guys taking Leon with you when you're out of, or is it just that you're out of town?
Yeah, he's going on a vacation. I'm staying home, so it'll just be me.
Okay. Vacation.
We all need that.
Long story.
So, let's say you have family over or something, and you put Leon in the let's say the fridge, in the bathroom, in the freezer, like just go.
Put him on ice.
Is you can have him collared up while he's in the bathroom.
Okay.
And any nonsense you would correct. Barking.
From outside the bathroom?
Yep. Barking, scratching at the door, whining, pining, scratching at the bottom. If you hear them pacing around a lot or whatever, when they leave, like any of that stuff, you can correct it using that. Okay. The way you would approach it is I'd most likely start at my obedience number. So if your obedience number is like 35, then I'd be like a 35. Okay. Same time. Tap tap tap. Response. Bump it. Tap tap tap. Bump it. Tap tap tap. Keep repeating. You might get a yip. Okay. Yips. You see what happens. He shuts up. He's calm. You don't hear any noise or anything like that. He's good. Okay. When they get ready to leave, have everything ready again. Get your collar ready. And correct any nonsense from when he's in the bathroom when they're leaving. Okay? So if you think to yourself, can I correct that? Chances are you probably can.
Okay. What about in the car? Because he had it on in the car, and he
When we get into the city, he sees stuff.
He sees bikers, dogs, whatever.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes. What I would do is take your leash, tether him to the headrest, because a lot of times when you remote the dog, we have. Oh, in a crate? Oh yeah, then for sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
For sure. So then same process. You're just remoting and bumping it until you create this. You're trying to create this mindset, right? Like he's still stimulating stuff, but compared to last week, he's like way better. Okay. The more you, and also the more, like let's say What neighborhood you guys from?
Bolo.
It's
We're like an
we
hour
can throw a
away.
rock over.
Oh, that's right. You said an hour. Okay,
Yeah.
wow, yeah, that's a trek. So I'm guessing this is busier than Bolo.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
I had trouble finding a dog in Bolo.
Yeah, I was gonna say we live in.
I was like, where are they all?
Legit suburbs where it's there's nothing there.
gotcha. Well, we appreciate you guys coming out here.
Yeah. Well,
We appreciate you helping us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So here, anything in the kennel, so you can stop whatever you don't want. Okay. You pay for the vet bill, you pay for his home, you pay
Which
for
if she would have found out, she would have
his
been
things, you
like,
pay for
she
training.
really
You
freaked
can
out.
have what you want. Okay, so don't feel bad about like, oh, but he's a dog. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question about it when he's in when he's in his crate with the collar on doing it. The fact that he's almost in a really tight, not super tight, but an enclosed space that you don't think does any kind of I don't know. What the
They
word
make him
is.
scared of the crate? No, this is momentary. So let's say he's barking in the crate, and I correct it. For him, it's a split second.
Right.
Right. To make the crate a negative, you have to make the entire stay within the crate a negative until he removes himself. So then he thinks, crap, the crate is bad. 100% of the time, I don't want to be in there.
He's used the crate. This is not like the first
Right.
time we're using it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
We
There's
just
been-
never
there's a-
use the collar for crate.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah,
very
no,
common question. So I do kennel corrections with the remote all the time. So if you feel like it's getting worse, you might get to a point where you're like 90 and he's like, right. If you go when you're going higher and you remote him, you're gonna get residual. You're gonna get like not so much residual, but like response bars,
Yeah.
right? Because he's frustrated.
Yeah.
Like we've got a couple of them today, right? Let that come out of the system, and then wait and go. What are you gonna do now? He keeps barking. 95, like if you go to those ranges, okay? Because what happens when you get really high is it's a really harsh hit. The dog's got to let out the frustration because of the hit, and then they have to settle. So you might get like a bark and more barks, and then he whines, and then he shuts up. Right? That's what you're listening for, okay? But that's why I have that system of 3 taps, then bump it. And you know, if you're going higher, like 70, 80, then I'm like tap, 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 right? To give some space for that mind to think. Space between remotes allows them to kind of process what was that for. So if you sense or feel like, hey, this like that hit, he's starting to like come down a bit, don't come in with the second one. See where it goes, okay? Because sometimes we can accidentally do another one when you didn't need it, and then you kind of reset a bit. So use your better judgment. Don't worry if for whatever reason you can't get it done. Just stop, deal with it. And then what I would do is set it up so that you can try it again and then film it if you can. So I can see what's going on and you can tell me this is what we're doing. 35, tab, right? And I can see him and hear what you're doing and know what was done incorrectly. Okay?
We got the leash pulling thing on video for you, but he did it right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it all the time, super common.
Yeah.
So yeah, the crate barking stuff, whatever you can correct. The bathroom stuff you can correct. Anything else that you struggle with him? Not like resource guarding related or anything like that?
No, I mean, those are the main ones. The resource guarding and then the, he just, and I don't know if this is part of that overstimulation, but it's like sometimes you can just feel his like anxiety or whatever, and he's like following us around the house and we're walking like this because...
Like, is he gonna bite you?
Yeah, kind of. Because you're not...
Gotcha.
You're not like really sure, because that's exactly what it was with him. It was like just all of a sudden he's behind me and now he's pissed off or something, you know. So that's what we're struggling with now. Just in the house, we're very mindful of like where everybody is at all times. But
Once you get that muzzle on, I'd start having him wear it extensively. You know, on walks, stuff like that. Like it's just another thing that he wears. Get him
having
comfortable with
the
it.
muzzle, you said?
Correct.
Okay.
So that you can correct him for that stuff too.
Okay.
But because let's say he is thinking about, he has the intent to bite you, and you remote him, it's probably going to trigger it.
That's what what I'm afraid of.
So that stuff we would stay away from until we get that muzzle on and we have that zoom. But anytime he's going to be away from you, like in the crate or in the bathroom type stuff, where we're not worried about a redirect, you can correct him for stuff.
We were talking about that on the way, and I'm like, how do you nick him for about to bite you? Like, I feel like that would just set him off farther.
Yeah,
if he's not on the
technically,
leash
so that's
or
why I have the
something.
bite suit.
Yeah.
So I come in like I'd have my pants on, and I'd be like, all right, go at it, and I would do whatever I would need to do to trigger it to correct it.
Okay.
Obviously, you guys don't.
I mean, Amazon, like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You
At
might
this,
go-
at this point.
Yeah, I don't even care. What is that?
Anything else?
That was
That was it.
Okay, so a couple simple things. Okay, definitely start targeting that stuff. Get the muzzles, get them fitted or whatever, and then set up the zoom. And set up the zoom for when you have everything ready.
the muzzle. Okay.
Yeah. So that we don't have it and then like we can't. Because ideally we want to do something over the zoom so that I can see it correctly.
Yeah, I think I might have to get a new collar for it because I've got a skinnier one that might fit, but it is
Snap buckle.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Does it loosen or does it stay? Does it at least keep it shape?
it's like fabric.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you?
One of his collars.
to go through those to secure the
This
master
one
building.
is too thick.
It's too thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to get them from like PetSmart. Nothing fancy, just for the muzzle. Nothing easy.
Just like a buckle, just like that one.
Slap like a belt buckle. Slap buckle. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys. So good to see you again. Good progress. And just be mindful, right? Don't worry about the turns and stuff until you get that muzzle situation situated.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Have a safe